Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Imagine having a difficult conversation with your spouse, children, coworker, or boss without conflict. Too good to be true? Well, sounds like it is, but joining me now is Felicia Brown. She is the Community Engagement Director for Family Wellness Dallas and Safe Conversations. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show, Felicia.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Okay, let's talk about Safe Conversations because I am intimately familiar with this wonderful nonprofit. For the person who's never heard of Safe Conversations before, tell us what it is.
Safe Conversations is a process, and this process will help people go from conflict to connection in a matter of moments. We focus on 3 specific things, and those things are to mirror, to validate, and to show empathy. And we believe with those 3 things in effect in every single interaction and every single exchange and conversation, people will be able to feel safe and have an effective and safe conversation with anyone that they come in contact with.
Now, I've attended a couple of your free workshops, and it's pretty amazing. Sometimes it'll be a wife or a husband or a fiance, and they're dragging the other one there, and then they're actually being taught how to communicate and listen with empathy and actually hear what the other person is saying, right?
That's correct.
Talk about that process. How do and let's maybe mention the founders.
Right. Well, and that actually segues us into make sure I mention the founders. One of our founders, which is Dr. Harville Hendricks, and he and his wife, Dr. Helen LaKelly Hunt, they have done this for over the last 35 years. And one of the things that Harville says is that talking is the hardest thing that we do. And then effectively being able to be heard and being able to be felt is the next thing. And so we believe that when we bring 2 people in, whether or not they were drug in or they were the draggee, they realize very, very, very shortly that they can use this process and they can connect. And we see it happening in a matter of moments within that time frame. And it literally changes their whole posture. And as you said, you've experienced a couple of our workshops. You can see the tension when they first come in. You can see, oh, my God, what am I doing here? But in a matter of, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and after that very first demo, people are connected.
Absolutely. I think one of the most astounding things that I've witnessed is people getting up and crying and saying, this is the first time I think he's ever heard me. Or, I've been telling her this for years, but I think for the first time she actually understands my feelings. So talk about the process. So Helen and Harville talk about making an appointment to have a conversation. Talk about that.
Yes. So part of the process is you ask for an appointment. And what that does, it actually respects the person and their time. And if they're ready to have a conversation. So it would go something, Jeff, I'd like to share an appreciation with you. Or Jeff, I'd like to share a frustration that I'm having with you. Is now a good time? And it gives that person an opportunity to say, I'm ready. Or it says, you know what, tell me when you are ready and I'll come back. It's just a respect thing. And I think that is the first thing that helps to break down the unsafe place. It says that I respect the fact that you may not have time, but I do want to speak with you when you're available.
And I can relate to that. I think sometimes Victoria, my wife, and I will have difficult conversations, but we have it late at night when we may not be in the best place to have a difficult conversation. So I think making an appointment with the person you love to have a difficult conversation, I think is really important.
Yes.
And then they talk about active listening. So what would the process look like next? The person would share something that's bothering them? Yes,
the person would share either an appreciation or they'd share something that may be difficult. And they would start that off, and the process teaches that person how to mirror back what they believe the other person heard. And that is the active listening piece. And that piece says, let me see if I got what you said. So, and then they repeat back.
So if you and I were a couple and I said, Felicia, sometimes I think when I'm talking to you, you're not listening because your head is in your phone or in your computer, then your response would be,
so Jeff, let me see if I got that. what you're saying is you don't think that I'm listening to you when we talk because I am doing other things that seemingly are distractive from you listening to what I'm saying. Did I get that?
Yes, you did.
And then I would say, is there more? And then you can elaborate if there's more.
And one of the things that mesmerized me, I think during some of these workshops, is that a lot of the emotions that we feel really relate back to something that happened in childhood. It was so many of these adults saying, when she doesn't listen to me, it reminds me of my father not listening to me or my mother not listening to me. Talk about the role of childhood. And
that's the next step in the conversation, because, I can say after you and I do that first part of the mirroring, and then we go into the validation part, and I can say, well, I can imagine when I do that, it makes you feel this kind of way. And then you can elaborate, yes. And you can say, yes, it reminded me when I would go to my dad and I'd be excited about whatever it was. And my dad would be reading the newspaper and just grunting, yes, yes. But this, and so you would feel, oh my gosh, she's not listening to me the same way I didn't feel like my dad was listening to me. And so
it seems simple, in a way, when Harville has written a dozen books and appeared on Oprah, 18 times, and so he is a nationally recognized expert on this subject. But it seems so simple, and yet few of us do it. Do we?
That's true, and I think that is why we came to Dallas in this method. I believe that Harville woke up a few years ago, and he just realized that only about 14% of the population was actually seeking out some type of therapy. And so at that time, he was like, even if we were to reach that entire 14%, we'd still have the vast majority of people who did not receive this. And so one of the major goals was to get him and get this technology out into the population, outside of the walls of therapy, to the general population so they could also experience it. Our workshops remove all barriers. We provide childcare. We provide simultaneous translation for those that need it. Everything is absolutely free. The couples leave, or the individuals that come, they leave with a manual that helps them to practice. Part of our sustainability model is that we have practice groups throughout Dallas, about 7 at this moment, where people can go at any time during the week and practice this safe conversation. Same model of free, removing all barriers. And individuals are really kind of adapting to that. And we're hopefully, our next phase in rollout of sustainability is to have trainers within the communities to also begin to take ownership of this and be able to facilitate throughout the city as well.
My guest right now is Felicia Brown. She is with Safe Conversations. And so let's talk about the next event. When if somebody wanted to sign up for one, is there a process?
So our next major event is going to be February 2016, and it will be a major workshop. It'll be one of our signature workshops where we invite people to come out and celebrate with us on Valentine's Day, or that Valentine's Day weekend. And because we believe, what better gift can you give to your significant other or your partner or whomever than the ability to feel safe when you speak to them and to be heard. However, in the interim, during the summer and fall months, we are going to also be partnering with with MegaFest. Our founders, Helen Harville, will be speaking in two 2-hour segments at the MegaFest event, August the 19th through the 23rd. And so individuals that are registered for that event can come out and actually partake in one of our sessions there. And then November, we are having, it's a little different type workshop. It's going to help us to hopefully become and make us more aware in the entire city of Dallas, where we're going to invite some couples that can help elevate our voice in different areas.
And I know you're doing kind of a whistle-stop tour. You just did one recently. Was it Monday? Was Helen and Harville that were out in the community? Yes,
we actually kicked our whistle-stop tour off, and that whistle-stop tour is actually making me very happy because we will show up. It's kind of like we're like, hello, we're here. And showing up in corporations, showing up in community organizations, civic organizations. And we actually, Cristo Rey is a new Catholic school that Dallas, I think it's a preparatory college prep school, and we were there for the last 2 weeks, starting on the 15th last week, and then we ended on this past Tuesday, teaching their ninth graders how to use safe conversation and have an effective and safe communications with their peers. The one great thing about that school is that they're going to be going into corporate America one day a week. And so we really wanted them to have the confidence that they needed, that they could be heard in those type of boardrooms and in that type of environment, because as a 14-year-old, the scariest thing to do is to have to tell someone 20, 30, 40 years your tenure that what they've said to you didn't understand, or it was rude, or it was mean. So we wanted to equip them with the tools for them to be ready to rock and roll when they hit those boardrooms and to knock the socks off of those executives.
Well, Safe Conversations has already made a big impact on my company because we have safe conversations in the office. So we'll ask each other, is this a good time? And when we say that, that's a clue. Okay, we're about to have a safe conversation. This does have business applications, does it not?
It does, and that's part of our Whistle Stop tour and how we want to make sure that people understand it's not just for couples, it is for any relationship and any conversation that you have that you want to make sure is effective. Another story that we have, our founders have, is that a couple came for their marriage, but they had a small business within their home, and they took Safe Conversations back to their corporation. And he had his executive management to come, then he had mid-level management, and then he had frontline people all to go through Safe Conversation. And in 7 years, he took his company from $20 million to $750 million.
Wow.
Because they changed the way that they spoke with each other. Who wouldn't want that?
That's amazing. That's amazing. What's the website?
The website is www.familywellnessdallas.org. You can also follow us on Twitter at Safe Convo, as well as on Facebook at Safe Conversations.
Thank you very much. Felicia Brown with Safe Conversations.
Thank you.
Just ahead, it was a tweet heard round the world in the Winter Olympics. Johnny Quinn from the U.S. bobsled team tweeted out a picture of a photo of a door that he had busted down, and the next thing you know, he's all over the planet on viral videos and national talk shows. Johnny Quinn joins us next on The Jeff Crilley Show.